Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And this evening or day, or in the replay, whenever you're listening to, we're really blessed to have Meg Benedicta with us. Meg's a dear friend, and the heart connection that's there is just, I just feel so open and expansive in it. And I hope you give yourself the opportunity to feel that as well, because from that, these portals get created also of receiving of this intelligence that Meg's carrying. There's a lot that is opening for all of us right now as we're transitioning through all these gateways and portals in new ways. It seems like every year, you know, we go through the equinox, we go through the 10-10 portal, the 11-11, we get into 12-12, we get into the new year and all that, and it's newer, it's expanding every time. And profound information that's coming in that is so pristine, so new. Meg really has her finger on the pulse of that and can really help us to attune, to prepare, to know, and to really navigate that with grace. And also not just for ourselves, but as we do that for ourselves, how we're actually being of service to others as well. And so this information and the attunements that happen with Meg, I believe are truly, they're vital to how we're evolving as humans, and other people are transmitting it and bringing in the energies in their own way. But for me, this alignment with Meg and how she shares it and how we can have a relationship with it is really just a gift that, again, I'm hoping that you guys can sit back, relax, receive, attune, and then ripple it out in your own way. And Meg, it's with that long introduction that welcome you back to these. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, John. Always a blessing to connect with you, see you, catch up, and share the love with everyone who's on the show. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So a lot of energy is running through, and I think we should talk about the portals that are opening up and the gateways, but I kind of want to reverse engineer into that and talk about the topic first that we put out, which is communicating with your higher self. And
okay, this comes up all the time. Everyone is very really dedicated to opening up their channel to their higher self, being able to be guided more by divine will and wisdom instead of this ego will that's trying to control everything. So I find this in everyone who is on this path to open that communication. And if it was really easy, we'd all be doing it, but it isn't. And it takes some work. It takes some steps. So what I do is I created a course to walk you through those steps, but some of the things that we have to watch for or look for or work with and open is our chakra channel. Literally is not only it's the center of our light body, our energy body, but it's also our communication network. So think of it just kind of like an internet, it's your etheric neural network that's running up and down this chakra channel. Well, it gets all bogged down and blocked and full of sludge. And so this, a lot of emotional trauma in there and memory and all that. So it takes, I kind of refer it to kind of like a plumber. We got to get in and open the pipes. Okay, we're going to get this channel open, and so it does take some dedication and doing whatever clearing is required to open this channel, so we can begin to bring. So we work our way up, and then we reverse and we bring our soul light back down in that etheric network. So it's actually an etheric neural network. Once we start to do that, then things begin to kind of pop. This is where we realize, okay, I'm actually getting some kind of a transmission. I'm receiving some inflow, right? Something's coming in, that's when then we begin to realize our focus isn't so great, right? You know, we have to be able to like catch it and lock onto it and receive it. And we're not trained to do that. We're actually in a left brain society that it trains us to analyze and manage and push our energy, you know, and it's very much the masculine efforting and taking action, and be able to communicate with our higher self is more of the feminine receptivity. And I didn't have that. I mean, I was the project manager for 25 years in the corporate world. I had to unlearn those habits to be able to settle in, relax in, and receive in. So that was one of the first things I realized I had to shift, kind of how I work with my energy. The other thing I noticed is my empathing. So if you kind of think of this chakra channel, is your empath antennas, and they were all pointed out to the external world. And so all I was doing was picking up like interference patterns and static and distortion, and think of it like loud noise. And so how are you going to pick up that transmission your higher self is sending you with all that noise interference? I had real trouble hearing it or sensing it, or even getting a clear vision or anything for that matter. It was just noise. So there's things we do to quiet the noise. Of course, daily meditation is one of the best things to do, just to get more into the quiet and the right brain, more of our intuitive brain, opening up and activating the pineal crystal, which works like an antenna, get your third eye cleared. And so these are all the steps that we do to get this whole communication channel active and open and working. And we start to learn how to be more inner focused to the transmissions and less focused out to all the drama out there. You know, yeah, it's still happening, and sure, you know, you can get your little, you know, sound bites or whatever on your phone or whatever, but keeping the majority of your focus more internal and receptive is when things really start to improve, and you can begin to have this kind of a uplink downlink type of communication network running with your higher self. So this is something I had to develop and learn, and then over time teaching people how to do it as well.
And you know, we've talked about this on other calls in different ways, and the connection and the attuning to and the being in the practice.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for 10 years on the show in lots of different ways. And still the connection doesn't seem to be there. It seems elusive for some. It's like it gets lost and all these other things. What's changing now that perhaps we can anchor it in a way that we haven't before? Or what's the call that's making that sense of urgency and the dedication become more alive for people?
That's a great question. I think there's a couple things. One, we're realizing we need to be more grounded to receive, instead of just going out and being in the air, you know, like just leaving the body and being out into the higher heavens and you know, traveling the universe and being really transcendent, but then we're not bringing it back down. We're not being able to receive it back down. So I think that was an additional awareness that came in since 2012. Yes, we go up, we go, you know, we get higher frequency, we rise up, we open up the channel, then we have to come back down so that we can have that uplink downlink going on. So that's one thing I felt that became, even for myself, it became a priority. Like it really was something I had to do regularly. I had to come in, ground in, get onto the Earth's grids, you know, and just really be this antenna tower, and I be the receptor. And other thing too, I think what's happened is it's kind of almost like a whole reckoning happening in the New Age community, the spiritual community, where there's been so much what we'll call channeled information that's been out there for 50 years or more. And some of it isn't relevant anymore. Some of it never occurred, you know, predictions that never happened. Some of it is maybe we just evolved beyond it. Oop, poof, we're past that already. And then some of it is out there in the airy fairy and it's not even real. So we're having to kind of step back and go, okay, wait a minute, I can't rely so much on external sources anymore. I need to be my own channel, right? So this becomes another priority. I need to be the one communicating to spirit, communicating to my higher self. And also I found too, even when I had my awakening, it was almost 30 years ago, it was like very quickly, within days, my higher self's like, don't go put your power outside yourself to other teachers, channels, coaches, whatever. Like, keep your inner focus onto your own higher self so that you maintain a real clean channel, this is because it can really get mucked up pretty fast. So keeping we call it energy hygiene, right? Really maintaining some energy hygiene and staying focused, because you think of it, when you start to attune to your own unique soul energy signature frequency, it's like you're dialing to your own radio station. And that's what makes a clean, clear transmission. When we're not attuned to our own soul frequency, that's when the interference can come in, and the false channelings, or the false, I call it false light, whatever that false light form is taking.
Right. I like that we offer your packages and the attunements, and we'll get into the special offer later, and all your special offers are wonderful. But for me, and I'm just saying this for the benefit of everybody, and it's really the basis of why I started BTO. I've been going into, it's like, why am I wanting to build this platform? Why am I wanting to grow? And I really had to start going to the roots of why I started the show. And again, it's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
And the emphasis of that, when I go back into it, is what lights up my heart the most. It's like, I just want to share what's working. Yeah. I want to share this information. And it's like where I've put my energy and where it shifted my life for the betterment, unmistakably, and getting to that point. And what it took was a devotion to that came from the heart, that devotion comes easily when it's really heart intended and aligned. And then these other things perhaps try to get in the way. And so I'm sharing this because we need and benefit tremendously from practices that keep us in that devotion, that remind us of that alignment, that remind us and provide an energetic container that is congruent with that integrity of our divine intelligence that's coming through. So with what Meg is offering and the way that she describes it, again, it is that. It's this alignment that's taken place, and we forget and we get distracted. Or Meg, something that we can talk about is even how our energy will shift because of our health. And it's like, oh, I don't have time for that. I can't go for that walk. I can't do this anymore. It's like, all I want to do is either lay on the couch or do the work that I need to go do, and then go watch TV or the news or veg out to something else that takes us away from being in that devotion to that energy that's really supporting us.
That is so true. I did not make my health my priority. I didn't even make myself a priority. It was so into service. All right. It was all about getting everybody up and running. And so I had to like really back off from that after decades of doing that. It's like, okay, wait a minute. I have to be healthy to be able to be in service. So I did catch myself with that and realize I had to start adding that into my routine. But I also think too, you hit on a point, John, about why do we tend to want to go seek some specialist, right, to tell us what's happening or what to do or all that. And I think part of it is we don't understand or realize what a beautiful master soul we all are. We're not recognizing that. We see ourselves as small or insignificant, or who am I? What do I know? Or what can, I don't know how to do any of this. And we're not understanding that's really just the little human psyche who doesn't know how to do any of this, okay? Don't listen to that voice. Your master soul is magnificent. And the more that you can bring your soul in, really ground your soul in, embody your soul, you have everything you need. We came in from different star systems, star nations from all around the multiverse, and our entire light body is dialed. It's encoded, wired, and dialed to our master soul as the home for the master soul. And so we have everything we need in here. We have, you know, within the blueprint is the soul, you know, this soul blueprint is in way it's like your map. It's like, it will give you everything you need to know to stay on point, on path, on purpose, on your destiny plan, everything. You did not come in empty-handed. I guarantee you came in with everything. Your soul gave you your luggage and your toolkit. Okay, you have everything in here that you need, but we tend to, that human ego psyche wants to, you know, have someone else do it for us or give it to us. I think it's just resistance, insecurities, fears, you know, that we don't believe we can do this. Well, that's when I finally realized, oh yeah, my human self can't do any of this. So don't even give it pressure, right? You know, don't even expect it to. Have it partner with your beautiful master soul and team up, and then let the soul start to guide the life.
Mm. So with these portals that have just happened and these gateways that have just happened and the ones that are coming up very powerfully, as you talked about earlier, before we went live, how is it that we can be in relational aspect with these energetic transitions and allow the soul to guide the way rather than trying to force something to happen in particular? And I've seen a lot of people trying to force in different ways, forcing ritual, forcing plant ceremony, forcing like really getting into these events, but with very with expectations that are really egoic rather than fluid with what's evolving.
Yeah. Well, these gateways are also, in a sense, thinking of it, okay, we came in with our blueprint, right? Everything's designed and timed and all of that. Well, these gateways are Gaia's blueprint, and they're the universe supporting Gaia's ascension, right? Gaia's activations. And so if we align with these gateways, we can serve both our own awakening and then also Gaia's awakening. So that's how I kept getting, especially it started on 11/11/11. So this is 10 years ago. Oh my goodness, this will be 10 years ago. Oh. All right, so 10 years ago, 11/11/11 is when my higher self said, it's time for you to celebrate these gateways and start working with them. You know, I do big online activations with them. So it's like in a way, it's like a prayer ceremony. It's a healing, clearing ceremony. It's an activation ceremony, and each gateway is very unique to itself. Just like, you know, in our own blueprint, Gaia's blueprint, each one's going to do something particular, and it helps to, in a way, clear the debris from the Atlantean Armageddon timeline that we're all starting to finish and get free of, and all of that's held in here, right? You know, clearing that out, releasing, healing, transmuting it, and opening up your own soul, light body, soul blueprint, your soul code, your soul operating system. So we're leaving an old patriarchal, hierarchical operating system. We're going to now replace it with each in our own soul operating system. So each of these gateways assists with a certain element of that process, kind of a up-leveling and stair-stepping up.
And so what's coming up in, like, which is the next one? Well, actually, let's step back a little bit, because if we go into the equinox portal, that was a huge transition. What did you experience as you were tuning in with that shift, and where do you feel those waves are heading as these other portals are opening up?
At equinox, it was a Libra equinox, so it was all about balance, scales of balance. It was a very still energy, actually, getting into that gateway. It was very it was a 0 point energy, so it was very still in the now. So anything that was, you know, kind of pushing or pulling or polarized couldn't hold in that stillness of the equinox. And so that's what I've been watching coming out of all of us since, so what was that, September? So yeah, so it's been some weeks where we're releasing and clearing, and it's coming out of each of us uniquely to, you know, what we need to let go of. But it isn't a letting go process. You really are saying, goodbye, I'm complete, letting it go, and it's dropping. I feel a lot of coming off the back of the body. It's the past, right? Just dropping this dead weight off, dropping the energies out. I've been purging out of my, chakras and intestines. Like, it just seems like, okay, stuff's purging and sweating. And so it could be all kinds of ways that your body's letting it go. It could be energetic or physical or both, or emotional as well, trauma coming out. But it is a clearing process, because our teams, our higher self and our angels, our teams are trying to really get us ready for these year-end gateways. So it's a prep. Think of like the equinox is kind of like a prep for what's coming. And then we just had the 1010 gateway, which is in a way the alpha and the omega. It's kind of a full circle moment where we're completing one cycle, which is the Atlantean cycle, and we're starting this new Earth cycle. And it's also about just fresh start, reset. I'm really feeling that reset energy since 1010. It's like, take advantage of that, really hone in on what it is you are focusing into, especially what's lighting up in your blueprint for the coming year, this next year. So that was the 1010 one, and that one is still working through us. Actually, it's still very active.
And we had Saturn just start moving forward, which is which is huge.
On 1010 as well. And we had powerful CMEs come in that evening. So that's when the universe, is sending, so the great central sun is sending powerful electron, photon, plasma waves to our sun, that again sent to our planet. And those are these solar waves and CMEs, which are plasma waves, are changing and altering the whole planetary field. They're altering the magnetic field. Actually, they're weakening the magnetic field on the planet. And this is also when the magnetic field shifts or weakens, anything that was really stuck can let go. That's why equinox and 1010, we're really letting go, because the planetary field is actually helping us let this stuff go. It's pretty amazing, actually.
It's incredible what's happening. And I've been feeling what you're describing. I've been feeling and experiencing also. And it's at the beginning of the year, I heard just intuitively, it's the year of wiping the slate clean. And again,
perfect.
getting rid of karma. It's just really being done with that. And on the 1010, also, it's like all of a sudden these things that, for me, that are needed to tidy up the ship so that it can really sail in a way that it's intended to, started landing when I couldn't get them done before. They felt heavy, or I got into there was a point there where I got into some anxiety. It's like I was doing 30 things at once and nothing was getting done, right? And so this energy was running, then finally just it landed, and time got longer. The day
I love when that happens. Really long days. You're like, oh my God, it's only
all of a sudden it's
afternoon.
like, what? I've still got time to do stuff from yesterday. I had no time to do anything.
I
And so
love those days.
energetic shifts they're real, they're palatable.
Yes, they are. The time is literally, stretching and moving and changing. And also too, there is this sense that we're kind of freeing ourselves, liberating ourselves from the limits of that time constriction, time density. We're getting freer and freer from it. Yes, we can still have a clock running, but we aren't experiencing that compression of time. And so it opens us more to access the quantum field where it all exists. I was talking to my students earlier today, and it's like when that compression unlocks, then we are able to access options. And how liberating is that to know, I have options all of a sudden, right? It's all of a sudden you have hope and you have excitement and you want to create. And when you're locked in time and compression and density, you don't feel like you have any options. And so I find that to be very liberating, where in the quantum field, for every challenge or every problem, there's at least one or more solutions. So you're starting to unlock from that compression, contraction, and time density. You're open to multiple solutions. You've got options. It's very liberating.
And not only not only do you have options, you actually feel them grounding into your being. It's like you start becoming aware. It's like, oh, hold on a second. I'm not imprisoned by this one fear of worst case scenario, which is typically what we fall into.
Yeah, that's horrible. I know. Yeah.
And so you start seeing creative ways, but very applicable ways.
They're very real and tangible. And so that you can then grab onto them, ground them in, and manifest them, and they start to show up.
Right.
Yeah, they're very tangible.
I truly believe that's the 5D that we've been talking about. That's the Lemurian energy that has been spoken about so much. And we're actualizing it by being it and practicing it, and again, going through these gateways. I'd love to get into an activation in a little bit, if we could, with your transmission.
Sure.
But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, what is it that you think that causes some stagnation or some resistance from people as these portals open up, as these gateways are there? Because it seems to be very open for some, or easier for some, but from other people's, like, it's like we're speaking Chinese right now, and they don't know, because there's still a lot of suffering and not knowing and confusion and whatever goes along with that.
I think they're still invested and grounded into the Atlantean timeline, which is very polarized. It's, light versus Satan, it's this whole reality that keeps you in that opposition dynamic. And when you're in that chaos field and you're in that opposition all the time, it feels like you can never get anywhere, right? You can't make any progress, because every push forward, you get pushed back. It's just this, it's a defeatist system. It's just horrible to be in. And I it's part of what motivated me to get out of it. It was like, get me out of this system. Right? Like, I can't stand this. So especially if you're a starseed and other systems that aren't like this, you're like, wait a minute, get me out of the system. So I think when you encounter people who are stuck, depressed, in despair, they are really, they're unconscious. They're operating from a kind of a automatic programming running unconsciously. They haven't been able to connect to spirit and to their higher self. And this is the thing that I think is happening right now. That's so exciting, because just on basic physics, they've been able to demonstrate that energy is made up of both a particle and a wave, right? We have a particle wave state all the time in energy. But when we drop down into this time compression, right, in this polarized field, we only are experiencing basically the particle field, right? Just of physical atoms, of physical density, physical world. And it's almost impossible to connect to the wave aspect of energy, which is spirit. So that's what I think is this unification process happening right now, where we're starting to be able to remove the time barriers and bring the particle and the wave together, and every essence of our being. So we're bringing the human and the spirit, the human and the soul back together. And once you begin to feel the presence of your beautiful master soul in your heart, in your core, in your mind, in your body, right, you are transformed. You are becoming whole again. You're in that unification process. And that doesn't just only mean particle and wave or spirit and human. It's feminine and masculine, right? We're bringing those aspects together, past, present, future. We're like starting to unify everything that is who we are. Even our mastery from other timelines, starting to pull that in more, right? All of this. And so we're ground zero. And we're pulling all of this inwards to become whole again, and unification. And this is the process that I've been just laser focused on for the last 30 years. And this is what we're here to do. And this is how we can do it. And Metatron's given us this beautiful gift on how to do it. And it is transformative. So when someone is stuck or unconscious, you start at the basics. You start at how can you start to unify with spirit again? And that ego will resist it.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah. I love that you said that Metatron is here to assist us to do it. And the reason why, and I've spoken about this to my membership group and in other communities as well, and this is so important. For many years, I've witnessed over and over in different communities, sometimes even on the show, where people will show up and they'll be transmitting something, they'll be sharing, people will be in the audience side receiving, hoping to get what they call codes from them, hoping to get information, hoping to get intelligence. And my conversation is like, the only person who can awaken those codes within you is you.
That's so true.
Is you.
It's dialed to your soul frequency. Nobody
Right.
else's frequency can turn it on.
And
That
so
is so
Mary,
true.
Mary Magdalene isn't going to come in. It's Ezekiel or Michael is not going to come in. The Pleiadians are not going to come in and go in and activate you for you.
No.
It's all coming from here. May an awareness or remembrance be triggered? Perhaps.
Absolutely.
But we still have to do the work. We still
Absolutely.
and it's not even the work. We have to be willing to be open to the flow rather than in the robotic resistance unconscious level that you were talking about earlier, and to start recognizing the differences.
It is your light body, your soul code, your blueprint. It's all dialed to your frequency. So think of it like think of it like a library card, right? We swipe it for the frequency to get into the library. Okay, that's your frequency that gets in here and turns it on. Nobody else can do that for you. We can assist. I assist all the time in client sessions, but it's their soul frequency that's doing it. I'm just the facilitator for that to start to happen. And
Right.
it's really understanding you were given everything to turn this on and activate it. So it's more of creating a safe space for yourself to feel comfortable and begin to just meditate with your own divine soul light, soul presence, and just fill the tank, folks, fill the tank with your light and let it start to do its magic.
Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. Before we get into the activation or the transmission or whatever wants to come through, Meg, and thank you for saying yes to that. And I probably do want to take some Q&A because we didn't last time.
Sure, let's do it.
Which is amazing. But I want to get into the special offer. You've worked hard on this one for me. Oh, you confessed to me.
You're such a taskmaster.
Meg's put a lot of work into the special offer, and that tells me a lot. It tells me what we're ready to receive as well. So everybody on the call listening to the replay, in the chat box is the link. April's just typed it in. Click on that, or if you can't find it, or if you prefer, open a new browser and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Meg26. And it'll take you to that same page. And Meg, if you would guide us through what you put together for us.
Okay, are you going to pull it up, or I'll just go look at it where it's on my computer?
I'll pull it up. Let me show it on my screen here, and we will share screens.
Fantastic, because there's some descriptive bullets that will help people understand what this is. This is the Communicate with Higher Self self-study course that I created recently. And because I wanted to create a new course for this show and for my academy, and I thought, well, what are people asking for? And this is like top of the list. This is what people are asking for. So okay, if you can scroll down a little bit, John, and we'll go to the descriptor of, here we go, go back up again, that page right there. Okay, so these are some of the areas that we're going to focus on. So this is a course that includes ebook manual, quite a lot of information in this ebook, and then also a separate workbook with protocols and activations to do. And then I also created an 1.5-hour video walking you through the highlights of both the information, the manual, and walking through each of the protocols so you understand how to do these. This is for you. This is for you to apply yourself. And then there's an audio activation, like a meditation, audio download meditation, where then I'll take you through the activation so you can use them as often as you want. So there's certain areas that when we started the show, we were talking about, we need to get this chakra channel open. So this is where you're getting some protocols on how to clear out trauma, cellular memory, begin to balance and neutralize that kind of push-pull of the polarity. That's the old timeline we're leaving. We want to get more into what's called 0 point, which is just perfect stillness in the now moment. So we're training not only our own energy body, but our chakra channel to stay in that 0 point coherence. We're also having to open up and activate it and actually reconnect the bicameral brain, because this is the tool we use to receive the visions, right? The communication, the guidance, the knowing. And most of us were raised where we've only been using mostly the dominant left brain. So we need to actually, there's a protocol to activate the right brain, the neural pathways in the right brain. The right brain is your intuitive mind. It's your multidimensional brain. It's what you use to visualize and see visions. So got to get that right brain turned on. Also, I found that the bicameral brain is not really talking to each other. So left and right brain, we need to get that opened up and connected, and then starting to open and activate the third eye and the pineal crystal. Once you get the veils, the blockages cleared, you can start to turn on the pineal microcrystals that create a stargate, that create a pathway to the third eye and up. So kind of goes up and down to the higher self. We start activating the etheric neural network up the crown and higher to the higher self. So all of this is really practical steps you can apply to get this up and running, and then begin this whole kind of uplink, downlink, vertical communication network from your lower mind to the higher mind, up and down, opening that channel up. Also learning how to attune your empath antennas to your soul energy signature. This is so important. Otherwise, we're just picking up interference from all around us. So this is the focus of this course. If you can go down, John, there's the first download course is the higher, communicate with the higher self course, all that I just described. You get the ebook, the workbook, the video, and the meditation audio. Then you go down and you're also going to get, this is the Quantum Vortex course that tells you how to use Metatron's gift to us. This is his technology. And we can't do the first one without knowing how to do this one. So this is a foundational course for all my courses. So you're being able to learn how to use Metatron's cube to activate the quantum vortex that we use to propel energy up and down, in and out. It takes us outside of the limits of time, so it collapses the time barrier so we can access the quantum field. We can go in the past and make changes. We can go in the future and create our future outcomes. This is our gift from Metatron, and I am grateful for it every single day of my life. I could not do what I'm doing without this this tool. And then finally, we go down one. Oh yes, and it includes.
I wanted to include what it included. It includes the ebook, the workbook of protocols, video training, and audio activation. So this is a lot of content, and this is
and that one's a meaty course, because that has also both the science, the physics of it, and the metaphysics of it. So you're gonna, I'm excited by both. So I like looking at both sides. So it has both. Excellent. And then we'll do a private webinar for everyone who buys the package. It's going to be December 8th, and you'll have then plenty of time to work with the program, make any questions that you want answered in the course. I'm going to do a review of the highlights of the course, and then we'll do live activation. So it's more hands-on working with me with the protocols, and real good practice of working with your communication channel. And so that would be in December.
And right before the 12/12 portal also. So talk
about. Yes, it is. I had to squeeze it in between all these gateways.
Amazing this is coming through, and this Q&A and everything that's in here, y'all. This is so relevant and so empowering. And I have to get into a couple of these things, Megs, because they're so in alignment with what I've been receiving. And again, the way that you teach it and ground it in, for example, applying and healing these protocols for clearing the blockages and painful trauma limiting program of the body, heart, and the mind.
Yeah.
But when we clear the program and we raise it to the higher octaves, the barometer that the body, the heart, and the mind serve for in that higher alliance, it's profound. It changes your life.
Totally.
You're not the same person when you can attune and feel into the unification and the etheric body as well, by the way.
Right.
And so those tentacles that reach out from that connection, and that connection to source that will tell your body, your heart, or your mind that you're off a degree, it's impeccable. There's such integrity in it. And it's a big call to action from what I've been receiving and have been experiencing right now. And again, healing the bicameral brain, and again, the chemistry, going from the reptilian brain, going from the parasympathetic responses into new ways of creating by merging. And again, we're merging what was separate. We're coming in unity. Unity consciousness is not happening just outside of us. It's happening within us first.
And this is where you begin to move beyond the unconscious, where you're just, like a robot, right? You're just acting unconsciously. You clear all that unconscious programming out of the primal brainstem and replace everything with your soul light transmissions coming in. Now you're working on your own soul super consciousness. And it's like you said, it takes it to the whole next level.
Wow. And I have to ask you about this. Here you're talking about activating the pineal stargate and the third eye holographic projection. And I've always felt like I've been open and in a flow with that, but somehow before it seemed to be a little more boxed or pinpointed to particular centers or chakras or all that. And it almost feels like it's eluding me, but it also feels like it's the wholeness of me also. And it gets confusing as to which one it is from time to time. Does that make sense?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Let me rephrase a little bit
Okay.
more plain English. Sometimes it feels like my pineal gland is really activated, or it's just right there. But
Right.
most recently, it feels like I do feel like I'm pretty open, actually very open, but it's not as localized as like, oh, I'm feeling something in my pineal activating, or I'm feeling something opening in my heart.
Okay. Yes. So this pineal is covered in microcluster crystals. And so as you start to just flood it with your soul light, it's an amplifier. So kind of like how we have crystals in our radios or in our, our phones or our computers, right? It's amplifying the light that's going through it, the electrical current, the frequency that's going through it. So as you have a daily diet of that happening now, where you're really flooding your pineal crystals, and what happens is if you're in this vortex daily, it's creating like a vortex spirals in the brain fluid around the pineal, and it gates over and creates the stargate. And now you're not so centralized. Now it's expanding your access to higher dimensions and into more of the multiverse. So that's when it really is then a stargate. And what I found, what was happening is since it's kind of all in these crystals, it almost looks like a really elaborate, like a diamond crystal. It's shooting rays of your soul light out in all directions. And it shoots a big, strong laser beam right into your third eye. And then that's when I began to realize, oh, we got stuff in here I need to clear. So it helped me, kind of get in there, peel off the veils, the filters, whatever distortions were in the third eye, because that is the window to the universe for you. You want that like a clean window, right? You want to get that lit up with that beam from the pineal diamond crystal into the third eye. Goes right through the third eye like a camera lens, and it goes into the quantum field, and it's instructing the field on what to create for you. So this is then where we begin to get very selective on our thoughts and our visions and our intentions, because it's all getting beamed, projected in front of us. Once that's open, it's not open, not much happened in there. But once that is cleaned up and open, you now become, in a way, the holographic creator of your reality. And talk about that takes it to a whole new level as well.
Well, and then that takes me really to this image here,
Right.
the quantum vortex. So we become that. So it becomes an embodied, a whole body experience,
We do
rather
embody it.
localized through the pineal gland.
Yes. Yes, you're in that continual, it's a continuum. You're in a continuum spiral. Yes.
Okay. That makes a lot more, that makes sense to me. Wow, it's
Yay.
amazing. Some of y'all writing that you don't see the link that was in the chat box. April, will you type it in one more time? It was just a little bit above where some of y'all have posted the question, but it's there it is, right there at the bottom. It's a couple of times in the chat box, and we'll pop it in again because I want all of y'all to be able to participate. And again, this is a brand new program from Meg.
Brand new today.
And for $97 and to have the live video call with Meg also for the Q&A and going through this as we're going through these gateways and just accessing this tool to activate the own codes within you. That's where the magic really starts running. That's where you start feeling, even amidst chaos that may be happening all around you, you still get to your center and your place. And it's like, oh, okay. It's like, everything's actually okay. It's better than okay. It's like, what's wanting to be created here? And it's a different way of experiencing. And
very different.
I feel so many people shifting into, I feel a lot of, when I started the show 10 years ago, I felt a lot of the light workers, the ones that were really leading and putting themselves out there, people like you that were, it's like, it's my job to save the world.
Oh my Lord. Yes.
And it was very much, and so many of you all were on your own islands, and rightfully so, because that's the energy that was being required there. And then I started feeling this unification starting taking place where there was an easing. Perhaps it was like, whoa, maybe it was after 12/12, actually.
It was after 12/12. Yeah. I really started feeling the easing around 2018. It was really like, okay, now enough light is here, right? Really grounded into the planetary field. It's more than 50%. We hit the numbers, right? We got enough light here. So now we can also start to take care of ourselves as well.
Yeah. So again, amazing what was showing up there and how. And again, it's bringing us into a graceful state of creating amidst the chaos. And it's really taking that grace to shift the consciousness, not only for ourselves, but really globally for humanity. And it's happening. We're adjusting, we're attuning, and fear won't lead the way because the solution isn't in
No. And I think now that the field is majority light, now we're getting even more fine-tuned in what we're influencing into the field, and it's more of the love vibration, it's more of the rainbow light, right, of unity consciousness, it's more compassion, it's more joy, and that's what we're flooding the field with now, instead of the nitty-gritty hard stuff, right? I've really noticed that changed, and the work we're doing in the gateways, even it's beautiful work now. I like high as a kite and vibrating off the chair after I'm done with these things now.
Things are shifting tremendously. So I'm going to start taking some Q&A. So if you guys want to ask live questions, raise your hand. And as I'm promoting some of y'all to participants here or panelists, again, I want to remind everybody the special offer, it's only $97. There's a 2 payment option. It's brand new from Meg, and it's next level. Meg has been in my field for the last few weeks. I've been reaching out to her in the ethers. One, because I felt like my energetic system, my chakras were getting burnt out. And I knew that there was something, well, Meg's helped me with that before, but I knew there was a reason for it also, as there's a rebuild and a rewiring happening. And that happens to all of us.
Yes, it does.
None of us are immune to it.
No.
But it's knowing where to reach out for support and what's in alignment. And there's what I would call special people like Meg that can really see it and help us to re-amplify and to ignite or light and create the new pathways for what's been done and the new that's ready to come in.
Yeah, the new openings.
So it's wonderful. So again, I highly recommend what's been coming through. And I think I tapped into Meg's package before she offered it because I felt different.
Like John, I'm working so hard for John.
And I'm like, yes, I'm burnt out. Thank you. I received it, no doubt whatsoever. So it's been amazing what I received from the ethers. And again, I just know what Meg's providing through the special offer. So again, I highly recommend it. Take advantage of it. Again, the links in the chat box, or again, you can get to it by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Meg26. Take to the same exact page. And Meg, with that, let's get into some live calls. So let me go to the first one. Priya, let's start with you. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Priya.
Oh, and all of y'all, find your unmute buttons. So when I call on you, we're just ready to go. And there you go, Priya. We've got you now.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Really nice to have you here, and thank you, John, for calling on me. So, Meg, I've really been diving deep into doing the work, and is there anything that you can sense that could help me to clear away a little more than what I have been doing? That's kind of like that's a broad question, but I feel like I've done a lot of deep diving, but I feel like it's something that maybe you can help me with.
What I'm sensing as you're sharing the process that you've been in, and I know you're also doing the monthly gateways with me too, so I know you're really working it. What I'm sensing is I can really feel it kind of come off the back of you. There's a disentangling of your ancestral lineage through the birth family. So there's still feels like there's still a little grabbies at the back of, maybe at the back of the heart chakra, between the shoulder blades. There's some it could be an emotional attachment still, or feeling guilt or blame or anything like that has any kind of a charge, Priya, that has any kind of a trigger for you to really just set yourself free. Like give yourself permission that you're finishing with that. You're closing out with it. You're letting it, almost like those cords can just get slippery and slide right out the back there, where you're just blessing it, letting it go, as you're moving forward into your pathway of soul purpose and soul destiny. And it's just, it feels like it's maybe through the next couple hours, there's a bit of a wave happening there of letting that go off you. Because what's happening is we're really transcending our birth family lineage, our ancestors. We're moving more into our starseed lineage now. And it's no judgment. It's just, finishing, completing, blessing, and then setting it free. So I'm still feeling, it's starting to pop.
Yeah, I'm tingling as you're saying this, and back
of the primal brainstem. Yeah, just keep letting that drop away. It's almost like saying goodbye. It's just kind of blessing, saying goodbye, and letting it drop away. And it's all just returning back to the God light, returning to source.
Oh, thank you.
So if anything pops into your awareness of, like, I don't know about you guys, but since this week, I keep waking up in the middle of the night and it's like memories, high school, college, boyfriend.
That's been happening to me a lot.
Well, we had 6 planets in retrograde, right? So it's just like, whoa, all this past stuff coming out. So I think part of it is some of that, Priya, for you as well.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Because I've done some really deep stuff with a child connection, deconnecting, and it has popped up recently that I've just been really digging, and thank you.
Yes, you're so welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Priya.
Thank you, John.
Meg, as these things come up again, these memories, again, I was having memories from elementary school and junior high and yoga class yesterday. I'm
Crazy.
like, what is coming and why are you here? It's like, oh,
I
okay.
know, why am I here? My birth family home. It's like, what am I
Yeah.
doing in all this places here? Yeah.
And for me, I just had to be with it and it's like,
Mhm.
and allow myself to feel the feelings,
Just totally
whether
sink into it. Yeah,
guilt,
feel it.
whatever. Instead,
Mhm.
I went into a little bit of trying to figure it out, and I was like, why is this coming in? It's like, oh, it's like I just the Ho'oponopono, the forgiveness exercise,
Mhm.
is something beautiful that can be used just to, because when we try to make too much sense of it, it becomes a linear and we create boxes for it and it's more heavy lifting and
It
it's
becomes analytical at that point. You're not processing it. I'm the same. I actually I've had allergies the last couple of weeks. I tend to even have allergic reaction when I'm clearing trauma. I'm clearing out this old sludgy trauma memory stuff. That's interesting. My body is literally trying to just like, get it out of me, get it out of me, right? Purge it out. And so in the same way, I would wake up in the morning and go, okay, higher self, what the hell was all of that? I'm
yeah,
in my childhood home. I'm in my neighbor playing with the kids in the neighborhood. I'm in the high school. And it was like, you're literally kind of, because we're in review time with the retrograde, you're literally recycling with it and you're erasing it as you recycle it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, keep going. Let's do it.
that's, but the feelings sometimes aren't so
Oh,
cool.
no,
It's like, oh, I'm feeling that crap. It's like,
no. Oof.
okay, okay. And it's not trying to avoid it. It's like, I'm sorry, or I acknowledge, or I wish I would have did it differently, and I understand the suffering, or I understand the pain, or it just it's, and
Well,
again, it's
that's the beauty of being in the quantum vortex, because you are out of time at that point. And so as I was cycling back and I would pick up where I was, hurtful to people or, sharp or wounding or whatever, I could go in and apologize and retract that energy from them. So there's a lot of self-correction we can do once we get out of the limits of time and in the quantum vortex. And so that's also very healing, right? You're acknowledging that, I didn't behave so well there and I am so sorry. And I'm going to pull that hurt back away from you. It's a really interesting process.
it really is. I had a big one with Patrick Zito from 5th grade yesterday. I just had to say, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's
He's
so
probably
beautiful.
doing the happy dance today.
I hope so. God, I really hope so. But it's how beautiful,
Yeah.
because we're not doing for the sake of setting ourselves free, for the sake of we set ourselves
That
free,
is an end result, but
but the
yeah,
intention is so pure when it comes up in this way, that
that's
it's
right.
really about recognizing the retribution that you talked about earlier and it coming into balance. And so beautiful. Priya, thank you for bringing this up. It's such an important conversation. So appreciate you. All right, let's go to our next caller. Koalani, welcome. I hope I pronounced that right. I think being in Kauai, you think I
You
would,
should.
but
Yes, Kauilani. Hi,
Kauilani, thank you. Yes.
Kauilani. Yeah. I participated, Meg, in your recent activation, the 1010.
Oh, wonderful. Good.
I heard about you and I met you through Ariela's Ariela.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
amazing. Yes.
The recent one that she had, and
Mhm.
that's where I learned more about you and signed up for some other of your services. However, I had a question. I'm feeling drawn to go deeper now. Some of the things I feel like was blocked before because of my involvement with church prior.
Mhm.
Recently in July, I lost my husband, and it seemed like I have been more inclined and drawn to now the spiritual world and the multidimensional, and learning more about the Metatron's cube and the different vortexes, and really getting back to soul alignment. So and I've been practicing and learning how to get into the Akash.
Okay,
And
good.
to do all of that. And am I able to listen to the replays of your activations more
Yes.
than once to get more
Yes.
in tune and more unblocked?
Yes, as
sometimes
often as you feel.
a lot.
Yes. Yes, as often as you feel. What I first of all, just I'm so sorry for your loss. Just want to
Thank
give
you.
you that love bomb there, right? But what I do is I just caution people, if you feel like you're doing it too often and you begin to feel overwhelmed, slow down. Take it, just maybe take a couple of days off or a week off. I tend to kind of go at it too much, too fast, fast and furious. And then I'm like, oh man, I blew myself out. Okay, Meg, you need to slow it down. So just kind of follow how your own system is responding to it. If you feel like you're waking up every day and you feel really present and grounded and strong, you can go at it again. So it's just, think of it like the onion layer, right? We're just peeling away all this lifetime and other lifetimes of all this stuck trauma and memory and density, and you will continually improve. You'll get lighter, as John was saying, right? Really activating more of your connection then to the higher realms and the wisdom, the consciousness in the higher realms as well. What I'm sensing too as well is, as I mentioned, we're all uniquely coded with our own galactic bloodline and our own code and light body. And I'm feeling something trying to open up down in your womb space, root sacral chakra, that is wanting to, think of it as the Kundalini is wanting to rise like a wellspring. So and this is what we want. We want opening vertical flow, right? The resurrection spiral, right up your chakra channel. So just breathe down into the lower body, into the sacral and root womb space. And you're just starting to spin out anything that might be old or crusty or stuck or sludgy, just holding on there as you're opening that up for yourself. Whew. Okay, there we go, starting to move it. And you put it into the vortex spin, back to source light. Woo, there you go. Things are starting to crack open, pop open. Because it's almost like it's an inner flame or inner wellspring, and it was almost like it was buried under some crusty layers. So we're just kind of moving that energy out. So then your own flame, your own wellspring, okay, there it goes. Now it's beginning to rise up. Just breathing into your own Kundalini wellspring, your own flame rising up from the pelvic floor root up to the higher chakras. Whew.
Oh,
there we go. Woo. Opening that up. Whew.
Wow.
And I found that we kind of work with our body just really incrementally, just kind of stretching your capacity. You can hold a little more, we do, because otherwise I go too fast and blow out. So yeah, it's just opening gently. Here comes another wave, all the way up. Whew. Our goal is want to get all the way up past the crown, up to the higher self. That's what we want. We want to get this whole channel open. So great question, because then you're just helping people see where we might hold, kind of these balls, right, of energy, where we can get stuck, we can get some sludge. We have just these. I also found there's almost like a membrane or like a ceiling between the chakras, in the channel too, just kind of blowing these out. These are old barriers, old blockages. There you go. Opening it up some more. One of the places I really find that barrier is between solar plexus and heart, right? 3D and 4D. This is a big one for most of us. And it's just getting some of that pain and trauma out of there, opening to the higher, more spiritual chakras. So I'm just hearing from your higher self that you're at a good pace. If you feel comfortable with it, you feel strong with it, you don't feel, like you wake up, you're like, I can't move. Okay, you feel like you're keeping up with it. It feels like and we all have our own pace. So that's why we kind of have to just check in periodically and see how we're doing. If it's, there'll be some times where I'll do a real big blast, we'll be clearing, and then the next week I have to rest. But I'm an old goat too. I'm an old timer, so you're young. You can just keep going. I have to rest.
Well, it's funny because I'm 49 now. So I just seem like once I hit 50, all these things is going to be downloaded and just like, because I'm already seeing some things. And even when we were going into your 1010, I was seeing all of these lights and everything. And I get this really, really cool visuals. And I was sharing with my son, and he showed me a clip from Doctor Strange of the time bending and the shape shifting and everything like
Yes.
that. And it
That's
totally
what we're
made
doing.
sense.
Yes. That
Okay.
is what we're doing in the quantum vortex. There's so much going on in there. Once you understand this, the science of it, the physics of it, it's like a little time machine that we're working in there, you know.
Right.
It's pure alchemy. It's pretty phenomenal. Good. Go with it. Oh my God, go with it.
Congratulations. So amazing. Kalani, one
Thank
thing
you.
I wanted to suggest to you, and it's leading me to a question with Meg also, but I think it'll help with the grieving process. And it's not that you haven't gone through the grieving process, but it's another layer of understanding yourself in the context. So you'll read this in a day. It's a 200-page book that you won't be able to put down, and Meg may have an opinion about it. But it's Many Lives and Many Masters by Brian Weiss.
Okay.
I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
All righty.
Highly recommend it.
And the good thing is that prior to my husband passing, he had cancer, and I had a vision of walking with him across the Rainbow Bridge. It was really beautiful. But when the time actually came and he took his last breath, I wasn't able to see it. So
Well, you can actually, in the vortex, you can drop in to that moment when you're ready.
okay.
I do a lot of transition work with clients, parents and children, whatever. Yeah. So you can, when you're ready, because you're not limited to time. So you can drop back in, you know, grab his hand and walk him over the bridge.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And I
Okay,
think
thank you so
that's
much.
yeah, and I think that's the direction of work that I'm gonna go, because I saw me doing it for people as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kalani.
Thank you.
Blessings to you. Yes.
Beautiful.
So Meg, in relation to soul agreements and soul contracts that we've had through these different experiences, how do you feel that shifting as we're going through these new thresholds?
Oh, well, the way it's been explained to me by Metatron is because the magnetic field is weakening, it's unlocking everything, right? Just everything is able to be addressed and cleared. And so we're able to also do soul retrieval and extract ourselves from past lives that we have been traumatized or fragmented or dissociated, and it's causing problems in our Akashic records and our amorphic field here. So as we go in and use the vortex to go back into the timelines and start to clean it up and recover that soul aspect, we're basically cutting free from the reincarnational cycle that's been happening on this planet. Then it allows us to transition out of 3D and 4D, go back to our home star, our soul family. And at that point, we can decide, discern, determine if we want to visit Earth again or go somewhere else. So we're not strapped here, right? We're not stuck here where we have to keep recycling in reincarnation. But we do have to extract ourselves where we have been karmically held in that timeline. So I see it, it's called like the incarnational wheel or the karmic wheel, and we use the vortex and we go drop in where we may have still some unresolved karma or some trauma still holding us. It's replaying, it's recycling, and clean that up, pull the soul aspect. This is a lot of the work I do in private sessions, pull the soul aspect out. That timeline leaves your field, leaves the Akash, you're done, to the point where we won't have any more timelines, but just this one. And it's headed straight home to our soul group.
There's been a lot that's been coming up for me in process with that, or processing the relational aspects with my parents, understanding relational dynamics with my siblings and family lineage, the ancestral lineage.
That's
their,
the family lineage, yeah.
Inherited trauma. And also in relational aspects to very intimate relationships, also how the energies, no matter who was showing up in it, it's clearing out also, and the past trauma of it and the soul agreements are really collapsing. And
Once you
breaking the bind.
neutralize, once you neutralize whatever was that that charge or that misunderstanding or whatever it was, any kind of hurt or wounding or whatever, those soul contracts are finishing up. I see them literally kind of rip up and go into the refiner's fire, and they get filed back in the planetary Akash close. Like, these things are all finishing.
And I want to emphasize this really strongly also. Anywhere where we were burnt, crucified, drowned, any of those where we suffered for speaking our truth, know that those are ending the persecution energy. That is going away also. And I want to emphasize that for everybody here it's time to own this, and we're liberating rather than imprisoning ourselves.
Right.
In a huge way. And the energies, these portals, these activations, all these people that are showing up are really showing that way towards the emancipation of the soul that's been in a bondage that we didn't know how to get out of in human form, but we have that opportunity now.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So good. Well, let me take another live call and then we'll get into the transmission, if that's okay with you.
I want to answer one in the chat questions, if
Yeah,
possible,
go
real
ahead.
quick. It was
Absolutely.
from Lynn about the Reiki codes, Reiki attunements.
Mm.
This comes up when I'm teaching my practitioners. So, we're talking about having our own unique soul bloodline and light body and blueprint and code. If it is part of your soul purpose and soul mission to be a Reiki healer, then you would resonate with those Reiki codes, resonate with that system. It would be a match. It would be very coherent with your own energetics. If, though, you're here to do another, like my Metatron's cube work, it's not harmonious with the Reiki codes. So that would actually be detrimental to me to have the Reiki system, Reiki codes, inserted into my body, into my field. So when anyone asks me this, it's on an individual basis. We have to just check and see if it's really for your highest good and it's part of your soul's work or not. I hope that helps.
Awesome. Great response to her. Thank you for answering. All right, let's get to the live caller then. Demetria, let's get you to unmute, please.
Hello, thank you.
And welcome. Yes. What is your question for Meg?
Yes. So Meg, you have been probably the one that I've has been the most helpful about speaking into the program of the Messiah and the Savior and the Guru. And so that's something that has been in my awareness recently, where, there's many that are talking about golden age communities and building golden age communities, but you start to see kind of hierarchies and favorites. And so I'm just wondering if you could speak into that.
Where do I begin? Oh my goodness. Part, I think, of what we're seeing is, and it could be these are folks that got into the New Age years ago, right? Where it was still in the hierarchy system, and they haven't evolved beyond that yet. They're still thinking this is the operating system for our new earth, but it's not. The new earth is in 5D or higher. It's in unity consciousness. It's not in hierarchical programming at all. So that would be the red flag first right off. Okay, anytime you sense anything like that in either a spiritual teacher or a community, because it can then, as you know, Demetria, it gets into a cult. It starts to become a cult, right? It's someone at the top. They're the most charismatic leader, and that's who everyone's following. And you begin to lose yourself. You begin to give away your power, and you're not tuned into the higher self much at that point. So those are, I'm hoping, the last holdouts of the old New Age paradigm in the old 3D hierarchical system. What is opening up for us is this kind of wave of new conscious awareness that we are all interconnected, right? We're all a drop in the ocean. We're all part of the field. We're all influencing the field, We all have our own impact to the field, and there's nobody who is spiritually superior to anybody else. And that's really a key point. We have to remember this. If at any point someone starts to demonstrate that they are special or superior because they know something you don't know, this is part of what this conspiracies are doing, right? This is what hooks people in. They're still operating more from that egoic personality still. So they haven't worked on transmuting yet the part of the human psyche that did not develop when it should have developed, when we're, when we go from the terrible twos and we start understanding our ego, and then we're supposed to be evolving into socializing, understand that we have to share and we have to, help each other and take care. That part of them did not develop. It's still operating from the terrible twos and the narcissism and me, and I need to get what I want and I'm superior. So this is a big piece. To me, it's a red flag. There is some possible childhood wounding, and they still need to do their healing work and their shadow work and avoid it at all costs if you can. Then let's go look at what is opening up for all of us. So if we look at what is this new earth about? What is this new timeline about? Well, if you're coming from a consciousness that we are all, crystal beings of this beautiful universe, then we have already an innate respect and honor and compassion for each other. So we're learning a new template of relationship. We're learning a new way to relate with each other, which is from a wholeness, where this unification that's happening, we now connect and relate from that wholeness, not the fragmented, split out, wounded relationships. So there's no more of the symbiosis, there's no more of the codependency, there's no more of the narcissism. This is not even existing in that 5D consciousness. So it's a whole new flow of being very grounded and present and listening and paying attention and responding with respect and compassion. This is we're up-leveling to a whole new level of how to relate to each other. And then think about, that's just two people, and then you form a group, and then you form a community. I mean, this is how it starts to spread. I just keep getting visions of this all the time. Will we be able to see this in our lifetime? I sure hope so. I sure pray so. But I am not going to unlock from that vision. That's where we're headed.
Yeah. Demetria, I want to ask you a question. And before I ask you that question, I want to remind everybody of Meg's special offer. So the link is in the chat box. It's $97. There's a live course happening December the 8th. There's the Metatron's activation. It's all this facilitation. It's brand new from Meg. I highly recommend it. I wanted to bring it up in case you guys were hanging up soon, because we're running a little bit over. That's okay, because this is really compelling today. But again, the links in the chat box, or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Meg26. Demetria, I wanted to ask you, what compelled you to ask that question?
Yeah, just it's observation. An observation that
She's watching me post shit all over the place on Facebook.
Well, and you've been so helpful,
Okay.
because it helped me to see things. It's like, okay, on the one hand, when we start to see the kind of contradictions, we talk about unity consciousness, but then it's like, you start to see how it sets up this kind of but you can only do this if you are in this kind of tier, or you have these kinds of qualifications and experience. They like set up this hierarchy where, okay, well, if you did this class and then you do this, so that's what
also too, I'm even seeing where there's posts now in ascension groups that you can only enter 5D if you're invited.
What?
Ooh. Yes. Wow.
I want to join. Really? I can be part of that group. That's so cool. Wow. So that's so interesting. And the message that I get when things like these come up, it's regardless what anybody else says, it's really, it's the biblical words, know thyself. Know thyself. And you just remember and ease into that. It's like, if what Meg's saying resonates for you, you know thyself and it's for you. If what I'm saying resonates for you, it does. If what the cult is saying resonates for you somehow, it's for you in that moment.
It's for you in that moment.
It's for you in that
Yes.
moment. And
Yes.
when we start getting into judging and polarizing the polarization, then we're actually supporting it. And so when we can get into the compassionate place, I think that's why some of these revisiting these high school, junior high school moments, the reckoning, the realizing where we've caused harm,
Yes.
coming back to ourselves and recognizing, okay, maybe they are going back into an old trauma wound. They're leading from that. They can't see it. They don't know. Other people are resonating in that. That's for them. And what do? You know thyself. And you, as you hold that energy, as you hold that space, as you expand in that knowing, then you're creating a portal for other people to recognize it even more quickly than perhaps you did or I did, because there's more of us activating within
Sure are.
that the divinity of truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we start getting into that judgment place, like breathe, compassion, we know we're choosing, we know what's right for us, we're choosing, and we wait for our next truth. And that can be a second later, it can be a lifetime later. And it just varies.
I also, though, believe that we have a responsibility to be honest with the community.
We have to be in integrity. Absolutely.
If there is someone harming people, I will point it out.
Yeah.
I find if I don't, I'm just spiritually bypassing and I'm not doing anybody any favor at that point.
Yeah, it's really interesting how that shows up in a lot of different ways. And I can sit here and write blog posts about people who are doing things and it's
me too. I mean, for 25 years, I was live and let live until QAnon came on board. And then it was like, okay, broke the camel's back. I'm done being silent. Yeah. So I think it's just, you have to kind of feel in you, if it's in your integrity, because that's what 5D is all about, is living in integrity. You know, what we think and what we feel and how we act and behave, it's all integrous to our soul truth. If you're finding that you're being compelled to either caution or just spread more light where there's false light, you know, just follow how that's moving through you. And then we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say, Meg, thank you. Thank you.
It's wonderful. And different people are doing it in different ways. For me on the show and the speakers that I bring through, if you look at the repetitive messages, how they're being shared, the speakers who are recurring over and over, and of course some new people that we bring in also, there's a pattern in that also that is shedding light into what is and taking light from the false light. Mm-hmm. And so there's different ways, if you really attune to the energy, where you can feel where the light is being exposed for the light and where the manipulation is being diminished because of our awareness of that manipulation and how we're choosing to be in relationship with it, or basically not choosing to be in a relationship.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. Meg, I know we're running long, but I'd still love to get into the transmission. Do we have time?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And thank all of y'all.
We'll do a short quick one.
Excellent.
I think what I want to do is, since we're talking about working with our channel and all of our unique soul starseed origins and our light body and our blueprint, let's just do a quick transmission coming in to continue to open and expand and activate more of our inner beautiful starseed light body. So let's take a couple deep breaths. We're just going to come. We've been talking and thinking. Let's just kind of come down more into the heart, into the breath. Just bringing your energy down into your core center. Just feeling inside. And Continue to extend your energy down the legs to the feet and the feet chakras. We're going to just lock right onto our beloved Gaia's crystalline grid on our new earth timeline. Oh, there we go. Oh. All right. Beautiful. Locking in, and we're going to connect to our own beloved soul presence and our soul family, our own star, original star, connecting to our spirit team. We're connecting to Gaia and to the nature spirits, the elementals, the devas, and Archangel Metatron. Metatron is embedding Metatron's cube under your feet and your grounding. And we're giving it our light, turning it on. There we go. It's starting to open up, and 12 pillars of light rise up from Metatron's cube up and around the body. So it's in a circle. They're humming and toning and vibrating with the 12 sound waves of our 12 dimensions in a harmonic symphony, just letting them vibrate inwards towards you, towards your body. Just breathe that in. And we hear that with our human ears is the sacred sounds of Om. So just letting that pulse inside you, into your field. Oh, there we go. And then it begins to rotate the pillars, and they're going to go right to left, counterclockwise. If you're looking from your mind, your head down to your feet. So we're anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, right to left. All right, let's get this spinning. So this is the quantum vortex. So as we're spinning up, those 12 pillars begin to blend and begin to merge together, and they start to create a vortex of crystal diamond light. Oh, there we go. So spinning, 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 and just keep using your breath. And as it expands, it's starting to open our field up and out into the higher dimensions. We're opening, expanding. Whew. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to go even faster, collapsing the time barriers, gravitational force, and opening all the way to the quantum level. Whew. That's it. Let that ripple through you. Whew. Excellent. Whew. And that allows us to come inside now and work with our energy body, with our own chakra channel. So let's bring the second spiral. This is a resurrection spiral coming up from Metatron's cube at your feet to the root chakra. And we're spiraling up the channel. So as you're moving up, resurrection spiral, moving up, you're clearing out density and trauma, cellular memory, just starting to open your chakras, open your channel, just like clearing the pipes, going all the way up, spiraling up, 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 past the crown, up into the higher chakras, transpersonal chakras. So we get up to the 12th chakra at the top. And connecting to our higher self, our beloved soul presence. However that feels to you, or you see it, or you sense it. I always just do like a heart-to-heart connection to my soul presence. Your soul is made of your signature light and your sound waves, your tones, your frequencies. Just kind of tuning in, connecting to soul energy. Okay, we got it. And now we're going to reverse and start bringing your soul energy back down the channels. Now you opened your channel, you're an open receiver, breathing down and in, a big wave of your soul light, your soul frequencies, your sound waves, your tones coming down the crown, filling into all the chakras in the body. Just open, receive in, breathe in, all the way down to the lower body, to the root chakra, pelvic floor. And that's it. You're letting your soul just kind of settle in, fill in. That's it. Good. Now, everything in you, in your soul light body and blueprint, is dialed to run on your unique soul frequency. So let's go into the heart center. Heart center is it's the center of your light body, and in the heart is a heart crystal, like a diamond crystal. And so let's fill the heart center, the heart crystal, with more soul love, soul light, soul essence, soul consciousness. You're just flooding your heart crystal with your soul light, your soul sound waves, your frequencies. Ooh, there we go. Okay, and it's starting to build. Ooh. Keep flooding it, filling it. It's starting to pulse and vibrate, just like a big starburst of your soul light radiance from the heart crystal. Yes, good. And it's just almost like a disco ball. It's sending rays, your soul light rays, out from the heart crystal, all through the body and aura. Ooh. And let it start to pulse your light rays into your soul code, your soul light body, your soul blueprint, because it's your own light, your own frequency that turns it on. There we go. Okay, so just breathe into that for a minute. We're just commanding to activate more of the soul light body, the soul blueprint, the soul code, the soul operating system with your starburst of soul light beams from the heart crystal. Ooh. You might feel it tingle, you might feel it get more electrical, you might feel it amping. Might also feel the vortex spinning very fast. We're in an activation right now. Just breathing in, pulsing your light rays through your light body, blueprint, and soul code. Good. That's another amplification. And we can set the intent that we're lighting up more of our soul bloodline, our soul blueprint, our soul light body, our soul operating system at the pace that is comfortable to me and preparing me for these powerful gateways that are coming here from 11/11 to Christmas Eve. And now we're starting to receive a transmission of support coming down your channel from your higher self. So breathe that transmission in. Loving support, preparing you for up-leveling at these gateways. Oof. That's also going into your blueprint. So you're just breathing in. You're an open receiver, receiving in the blessings, receiving in the support, receiving in the preparation, receiving in the activations of your light body and your soul blueprint, your soul code. You are crystallizing your code. You're crystallizing at the cellular level. You're crystallizing your heart chakra, your heart crystal. Ooh. Good, yeah, beautiful. So we keep continuing to build more and more soul light radiance at the heart and into the body, into the light body. The vortex is spinning this in, grounding this in. This is blending in, merging in, updating with both the physical body and the light body, the RNA and DNA at the subatomic level, molecular level. There we go. Ooh, locking in, grounding in, merging in, blending in, integrating. Ooh. There we go. And as that takes hold, that completes our activation for now. And so it is. It is.
Oh, that was so visceral for me. Thank you. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I felt it from the root into the back of the pineal, into the extension out, and then I felt the crystallization around the heart.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow. Wow. And I got taken in.
Just...
And the void place, just that. That's still, oh my God, this is amazing, y'all. This is, well, the replay is going to be out, y'all. So we'll send the replay. You'll be able to come back and go through this and go into this experience again, and to the rest of the call, of course. The replay can always be found on the website, beyondtheordinaryshow.com, and you put /replay to get there. But I want to remind you of Meg's special offer, and anything Meg does, but the special offer again for $97 and what gets offered there. It's such a gift. The link again is in the chat box. April just put it in there again. And I hope you take advantage of it and dive in deeper through this special time with Meg and what she has to offer in the facilitation, which is beautiful. And Meg, as always, thank you.
Always a pleasure to be with all of you. I love you. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. I'll see you on the next call. Have a fantastic evening.